our country. That's the concern that I have in the long run.
I want to pick up Mr. Cruz's suggestion that the economy is in trouble and try to bring it directly home to San Antonio, Mr. Mayor. You know, Texas has endured, we hear from Governor Perry and others, Texas has endured this recession better than most other states. But in San Antonio specifically, it's been a tough couple of years. There was a Census Bureau report that came out this week that led to a story in the San Antonio Express News from which I have these numbers. According to the Census Bureau, between 2009 and 2011, unemployment in San Antonio went up by more than a full point. Median household income dropped by $2,000, and the percentage of citizens on food stamps rose more than 4 percentage points. You know how tough the economy is. You're leading a city that has been bearing some of that brunt.
Sure.
Can you talk about that? Do you dispute the idea that somehow the economy right now is in a world of hurt? Whoever's responsibility you think that is?
Well, I think every American would say that the economy is not where we want it to be. But if you look nationally, there's also no question that we've now had 30 months of private sector job growth. 4.6 million new jobs that have been created during that time.
Yeah.
At the same time, if we were to take literally, if we were to go right now to the archives of the university and pull out the front page headlines from 4 years ago and look at what was happening at this point 4 years ago, where we're losing hundreds of thousands of jobs. In the month when President Obama took office, we lost almost 800,000 jobs that month. People remember the severe anxiety and the talk of another depression during that time. So whether we're talking about the state of Texas or San Antonio or any place, are we where we want to be? No. But are we better off than we were when we were talking about going into another depression and the banks collapsing and so on and so forth? Oh, absolutely. There's no question in my mind.
Mr. Cruz, this question, the famous Ronald Reagan construction, are you better off than you were 4 years ago, has become part of this campaign, naturally.
Sure.
Mayor Castro makes a case that at least seems not to be in dispute factually. There has been 30 months of consecutive months of job growth. And when the president came into office, things were significantly worse than they are now. Mayor Castro's point is, are they as good as they should be? No. But are they better than they were then? Yes. Would you like to take issue with this?
Well, right now, tragically, workforce participation is at the lowest rate it's been in 30 years. You mentioned Jon Stewart. I think often you can get a barometer on where the country is by the late night comics. And there was an interesting joke Jay Leno told the other day when the unemployment...
I thought you said comics. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not even going to get in the midst of that. But Evan, Letterman is getting older, and they will have a vacant chair at some point.
So what did Jay Leno say?
So Leno was observing when the unemployment numbers came out that they went from 8.3 to 8.1%. And the reason was that 368,000 people dropped out of the workforce entirely, stopped looking for work, which is the only reason the numbers went down, because nearly 400,000 people gave up hope they could find work, and Leno observed. So Obama now has his strategy for re-election, which is encouraging even more people to stop looking for work.
But Mr. Cruz, the question was not, is the unemployment rate today 8.1 or 8.3? It's, is the unemployment rate today and is job creation today better than it was when the president took office?
And the answer is absolutely not. When you've got the lowest rate of workforce participation in 30 years, that's unambiguous. Let me tell you, I think the most important economic number for assessing where we are, and it's 1.5. In the 3.5 years of President Obama's tenure, GDP growth has been 1.5%. Historically, for the last 70 years, GDP growth has been 3.3%. So we have had nearly 4 years of growth less than half the historical average. By contrast, in 1984, under Ronald Reagan, GDP growth was 7.2%. Now, what does that mean? I mean, these are abstract numbers. What does it mean when the economy is growing, when small businesses are prospering, they're creating new jobs, people are able to find work, it creates opportunity for everyone. What we have, unfortunately, is small business after small business is facing crushing uncertainty. I'll tell you, the single biggest question you hear from business leaders is they don't know, between Obamacare and Dodd-Frank, between the offshore drilling moratorium in Texas, all of these policies are killing jobs. And what entrepreneurs express to me all over the state is this sense of great uncertainty. What are the federal regulators going to do? And the president keeps promising to raise everyone's taxes, which is causing small businesses to keep capital on the sidelines and not deploy it because they've got so much uncertainty.
Well, again, I'm not sure the president